Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I don't know if anyone's even on the stream right now because I don't know. Hopefully some folks will show up. I guess we will see. But hello, everyone. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Anyways, sorry. Just had a little bit of an issue there. Hope everybody's doing well. Hey, how's it going, JPD? Welcome to the stream. Nice to have you. Welcome. So yeah, we're back. It's been a couple weeks. I was out in Los Angeles visiting some studios and things like that. Went to GDC in San Francisco. Yeah, good times. Got to meet some cool people and got to chat with a bunch of great folks. Had some good conversations and yeah, it was a good time overall. So yeah, if I got to meet you out there, that was super nice. Thanks for coming up and saying hello, and met a lot of students and different people like that out there. So really nice. All right, so what are we going to do this evening? Well, my idea was to pick one of the Mardini, prompts up to this point. Today's prompt is organic, so I could do something like that. We could do something organic, or we could do something from any one of the other, multitude of prompts that have come up so far. And so I'm totally up for whatever you guys might be interested in. I am going to, here, let's pull up the Mardini challenge here. And we can see all of the different days that have been so far. Some interesting ones: gooey, explode, disintegrate, jiggle, nice hat. I don't know where you can get one of them. I was given one. I think I got this one when I won like a day of Mardini, like in 2021. So I don't think they're for sale anywhere. Although, there is that merch store down here, so you can always keep an eye on that. But I don't think there's. Hey, look at that. Some new ones there. It's kind of interesting. I don't think that there are any. Let's see. That's cool. Didn't know that they had that. Let's see here. Vintage. Anything in here? Any hats? No. Products. No, we can just do that, huh? Let's see here. Hats. Looks like all you can get is the embroidered hat, unfortunately. We do not have... Oh, coming soon. So there you go. You can get one soon, whatever soon is. Okay, so anyways, there is the Mardini challenges for this month. So if anybody has one that they'd like for us to tackle or like to throw out some suggestions, please feel free to go into the chat and drop those there. Sorry, hold on one second. I'm just going to mute that so I'm not hearing all those noises. Cool. So yeah, so if you've got something that you'd like to say in the chat or be a part of the conversation in any way, feel free. Throw some comments down there, and be happy to hear from you. I think I'm gonna, like I said, for the suggestions from today, or the suggestion from Mardini, let's do any of them up till today. And little disclaimer, I am one of the judges for Mardini. So if you copy what I'm doing, I will know that. So, and I'll let everybody else know if someone copies what I'm doing. Although, why would you? It's going to be super simple in a couple hours. So anyways, just a little heads up. Plagiarism is not permitted in Mardini, I guess. I don't know. I don't think you should plagiarize. Seems like a bad thing, but I'm sure it doesn't specifically say that in the rules. Like, you could probably follow a tutorial, but I wouldn't suggest it. Anyways, hey Zach, how's it going? Yes, I am back. I'm finally back on the East Coast, so it's nice to be back. Yeah. So if you guys have any thoughts on one of these that we should tackle today up to the 18th, I'm happy to tackle any of them. I'll just have you guys throw a suggestion in the chat, or I guess maybe I'll just go with today's. I'm not really sure what my thought is there, but I don't know. We'll figure something out. Maybe I'll try something that's like, I don't know. We'll see. But plant architecture or grow feels like a fun topic. Interesting. Okay. How about disintegrating? We've got a couple competing things here. One's more procedural modeling kind of, and the other one is more effects based. Okay, that's pretty fun. Yeah, so if you got any suggestions, throw them in the chat. Might see, if anybody else has any thoughts or comments or anything like that. As always, if you guys, as we're going through this stuff, if you guys have thoughts or, you think I'm doing something not the most efficient way, or you have a better way of doing that, feel free to throw a comment in the chat. I'm not here to just talk to you or say this is the way that it's the best way of doing it. I'm always happy to hear other ways of doing things. And I'm not the expert in Houdini, so happy to be corrected or told that there is a better way of doing something, because most likely there usually is. So I'm totally happy with that. So so far we've got maybe some procedural modeling like plant architecture or grow, and we've got disintegrating suggested. So if anybody wants to be a tiebreaker there, that would be great. You can throw your comments in the chat. Happy to hear from any of you that can break that tie. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that you should anything else that I should mention. So I don't know. The Discord server. If you'd like to join the Discord server, please feel free to go to HoudiniHangout.com. You can find an invite there to the Discord server. Join up and chat over there if you have questions or thoughts or things like that. I feel like every morning I wake up to some discussion that has happened while I've been asleep, so it's kind of funny. So apologies that I'm not a part of that, but I do have to sleep. So, but yeah, so if you'd like to join the server and chat about whatever you're working on in Houdini, always happy to have some new folks there. But yeah, would anyone like to break this tie? Because me, I always like to go more towards the effects side of things, but I could be persuaded otherwise. So I am happy to hear your suggestions there. So yeah, maybe pick one of these Mardini topics. Maybe plant architecture, grow, or disintegrate, and throw them in the chat, and that will break the tie. Let's see here. Damage topics on. Yeah, let's just keep throwing them in. Yeah, damaged is. Yeah, they're all. There's some similar ones there too, right? Like they're all kind of fairly similar. But yeah. damage is kind of similar to disintegrate. I mean, I guess it really depends on how you kind of perceive them. All right. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we've got a tie here, and I'm not just going to sit around all night and just say, well, please, somebody break the tie. So I think, I kind of think that something like plant, architecture, or grow sounds interesting because I don't do a ton of procedural modeling on here, and maybe for a good reason. Maybe this will turn out terrible, but I think that's going to be a good one to select. So I think that's what I'm going to go with. Maybe something like plant or grow, do something along that line. And yeah, that should be fun. So let's do that. Okay, let's jump over to Houdini here. Let's save as. Let's make some new stuff here. Houdini Hangout. Let's see. What are we in? 03. 18. Man, that's too long. That was too big of a gap. All right. So let's do. Like, call it that. Mardini plant or grow. So let's do something like that. Maybe what I'll do is I will, let's see, do I have mops? Yes, I do. So maybe what I'll do is I will make some text here. And let's do this, and let's do mops typography. It's always nice because it gives you kind of all of the things, which is kind of helpful. Where did that go? Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay. Let's do this, and let's do something like Mardini. For the font, we'll use Lato Bold. Sure. And let's do... I just want to see what our... Oh, right. These are all packed. That's right. These are packed prims right now. All right. Let's see. How big is this? It doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll make it just a little bit bigger. And let's do a match size to get this to the ground. Yeah, something like that. I'll make it a little thicker. Let's see here. Scale tracking. Here we go. Give it a little more extrusion. And let's do some bevel type. Okay. And then let's do an unpack. Should have geometry now. Nice. Do we have a... Let's see, can we do a divide on this? I think we can. And let's just say 4. That should leave all the quads alone. And let's just say maybe... Let's see here. I think what I want to do is have those faces. I want to have these faces. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change the direction a little here. I'm gonna do a font instead. I'm gonna do Mardini, and we'll do this at 2. We won't need to unpack it. Let's do a poly extrude here. Do a poly bevel. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say extrude front and extrude back. We use those as 2 groups. Then we'll poly bevel. We'll ignore flat edges. I don't know. Maybe we'll say 10. Okay, let's make these round. There we go. Not sure why that was like freaking out at first, but it seems fine. Okay. So then what we can do is we could do a remesh on the front faces and maybe we'll just do that on all of them, actually. Just on the whole thing. Could be good. Try this Labs Fast Remesh. Just think it'll be better to have more geometry here if we're trying to, you know, grow some like vines or something on this. So that's good. Then we can use this is like our final geometry. Cool. Just want to see if these will smooth out. They did. Okay, cool. Those are the segments. Great. Okay. So let's do this. Let's do some sort of like, let's do some sort of like a growth thing over this. We'll do like growing vines or something up it. Something fairly simple. All right, let's see here. I want to pick a couple. maybe what I'll do is I'll pick a start and end point for each of these pieces here. So each of these connected pieces. So let's do that. Let's do connectivity. We'll throw this in here. And let's see here. That's on the points. We can just do those on primitives. Great. Okay, so now let's do for each. Actually, we could have just done this. That would throw the whole thing together for us. So let's do that instead. All right, so this should merge now 9 times. Okay, so we just need to get 2 random points from each of these. So if we go through here and just say single pass, we can see there, whoop, there is this piece. So let's just do, okay, let's just do a point wrangle. That should be pretty simple here. So let's do this and throw this in here, and we'll just say, Zach's just asking, is there a use case difference between connectivity and assemble if you're not packing the geo? Yeah, I don't think assemble will actually give you, it'll give you a piece, right? So I guess you could use that, right? Like you could use that for your like connectivity, but connectivity, like if you did this, yeah, I guess it would give you the exact same thing. I have a feeling there's connectivity in here, if I'm remembering correctly or guessing correctly. Yep, right here. So there's the connectivity inside of there. So my guess is that, let's see. Yeah, there's probably something that happens in here, but that's okay. I don't think this, yeah, this is actually like the lowest level node. This is like built on top of it. Hey, K4, welcome. So really just like if you need more features, this assemble node is useful for that. But if you need just really simple, connectivity is going to work best because you can just do, something like an integer even, and that's just super simple. Just have a number on there. And in this case, what I should be able to do is actually, yeah, I'm actually not going to do a point wrangle. I'm going to do a detail wrangle here. Or no, sorry. I'm trying to think what's the easiest way to do this. No, I do need a point wrangle. My bad. Because I was going to say that I only needed to run it once for each of those, but no, I do need to run it this way. So let's take, let's think here. We need to know how many points are in each of these. So let's just do, well, I guess we just have that built in, so that's not a huge deal. Let's do our random start. Let's just say, let's say int rand start equals, we're going to do rand based on the at class. And so that's going to give us, that's going to give us just a random start here. And actually this needs to be, I'll need to change that, but right now that's just a, that should actually be a float. So what I need to do is do fit a 1, because this is going to be a random number between 0 and 1. And I want to fit this between 0 and at n, what is it? Num points like that, I think. minus 1. I think, because the number of points... would be... Sorry. Let me just see here. I'm just going to do this. I'll do int. Oh, right. This needs to be on points, and this needs to be on points as well. Nope. That doesn't work. Okay, let me think about this. Points, because the class is not on those points. I could just promote it, I guess. What did I do here? Okay. Make ID, alien XY said. Yeah, I could use an ID. I'm going to do an attribute promote, though, and then I'll have that available from the primitive to my points class. There we go. And is it numpt? There we go. Okay. So each of these should have their own random start now. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I have just one single pass on, so let's just... Yep, they all have random starts. Yes, exactly. I am using that. So we have 28057. For some reason, I'm just not thinking about this properly. For some reason, I was thinking it was 2857. So it should be 0 to 2856. Okay, yep, should be -1. All right, cool. Just double checking that. So yeah, I'm getting the maximum point number to use as an endpoint right here, numpt -1. So numpt is a built-in function that gives you the number of points coming in. And so then that's going to give us that value to work with. So now we've got this here. And what I can do is I can just copy this and paste this and say random end and just give this some sort of offset. And so now we should have a random start and a random end for each of these. Oh, sorry. I just have this on the single pass again. There we go. They're all randomly like that. So that's great. I don't actually need to write those out completely. But what I do need to do is let's see, we're running this over points. So we're going to just say if at ptnum equals, let's just do this. And we'll just change both of these because we don't actually need to write these out. So equals do that and just say I at, and we can do this group underscore here and then do, we'll just call this start equals 1. And I think that should work. And that should only throw one of these in there. And let's see here. Yep. That's one in there. And then we can just say the same thing for the second thing. Random end, we'll just say group end equals 1. And there we go. We should have few starts, a few ends, and a few starts. There we go. Perfect. All right. So now I think what we could do is... Let's see here. So we're just going to use this as the actual text because that's like the nicest version of it. So let's just do this. We'll say, we'll just have this be our output here. This will be render text. We'll just keep that as our output. So now we can keep going down here and say, let's do a null here and we'll drop that in and we'll just say, let's see. What do we want to call this? We'll call this like plant mesh or something like that. All right, so let's do that. I think, so let's just do this here. Geo, we'll do this geo plant. We'll just kind of do something a little bit here. Let's see, get. Let's call this, let's name this a little better. Remesh text. Hopefully that makes a little more sense. Okay, so we've got that. We're gonna grab this. Great. So now what we should be able to do is, what is it? Is it find shortest paths? Let's see here. I'm trying to think. What is, so this is just going to go from start to end. So it's just going to be that, which is not what we want. What we want is maybe it's distance along geometry. Trying to think of what this is here. So I kind of do think it's shortest path. Why am I forgetting how to do this? Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of like a bunch of branches. Like I want more than just one. Oh, right. I guess I would just have to put all of them into the end point. There'd be one that's the start and all the rest of them would be the ends, I guess. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of and I'm just being dumb. Yeah, that's probably what I'm meaning to do here. Yeah, that's exactly right. And I need to... Okay, so that's obviously too many. That's not really what we want. So let's do something a little bit more interesting here, right? Because these are now, this is literally just like everything now, right? And yeah, we've got a lot of points and lines and things like that. So instead of doing this, let's... Okay, I think I've got an idea here. So instead of doing every point, we're going to need to make a better way to do the... Yeah, all right. So I'm going to remove this, and we are going to make a better end group here. So why don't I just move this into here, and then we'll just have these separated a little bit. And I will, instead of getting the remesh text, I'll just grab the render text. Throw this in here. Let it remesh. Okay, so what I should do here, I actually don't need this, and I don't need this. What I need to do is set, and I really don't even need to do this in the for each. I could just do it down here. I could do a group. Is there a random in here? Yeah, random chance. There we go. So let's do this, and I'm going to do points, and we're going to say end. We'll just say ends, plural. Just keep that in case we need it for some reason here. And I want to do 50%. No, let's do like 25%. 10%. Let's do 10% of them. See how that works. All right, so let's do start, and now we have ends. There we go. All right, we're getting somewhere here, but that's still too many. That's more than I'd want. So let's change this here. What about just 1%? Okay, so the other thing I believe we can do is we can I think that there is a okay, so we're gonna say I'm gonna call this add cost, something like that. Oh, hello. Yes, we don't have a point attribute. So let's just do add float, attribute adjust float, and let's do that. Let's do add cost. And this should make something sort of interesting here. Oops, I put a space in there by accident. Add cost, let's see that. Let's hide the other objects. Okay, well, let's play with this for a second here and see what we get. All right, interesting. Okay, so you can see how this is going here. I guess this really doesn't matter what the values are because the bigger issue is the size of these elements here. Hey, Fractaler, how's it going? Hey, Zach, welcome, welcome. Other Zach. The second Zach to the stream. Hello, hello. Nice job with your Mardini submissions again this year. A lot of nice ones. Okay, let's see here. So what we can do with this is we can sort of move this around, and those veins will sort of avoid or grow in these sections. So you can see that they're going to be more like probable to grow in these blue sections. Whereas if we do like this, well, because they've got to try to get to these endpoints. Oh yeah, well, glad to have you back. I haven't streamed in a couple weeks because I've been out of town. So yeah, good to have everybody back. So let's see here. Yeah, the interesting thing is you could technically like animate this, and I think this will like, yeah, it'll kind of move around, which is kind of interesting. But I don't think I'm going to need that. So let's just do something like this. And yeah, it's kind of interesting. Let's just play around with this a little bit. Yeah, see, that's what it looks like versus that. So it's kind of interesting. It's really like gives it a lot more like, I don't know, like value and stuff like it just gives it some more interest. And you can play with this a little bit and it'll like how hard you want this to like influence it. You can see you can have it just influence it just a little bit, or you can push this a lot harder. And I think if you do like, yeah, the harder you. Nice. Well, that's good. I'm glad you were able to come. Sorry, I'm just going to mute this so that I'm not getting smashed in the old eardrums with it every time anybody comments. Okay, so that's looking pretty cool. And what we could do here is, I'm kind of curious. I think each of these are going to be their own primitive, I think. That is really strange that it's not showing for all of them. Maybe those are just the centers of them. Yes, that's probably what it is. Okay, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to resample these, I think. See how that works. It's way too small. Turn this off. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And okay, so we've got that growing like that, but I really want to do some more interesting things with this. Like I really would like for these to not just sit on this like perfect surface, right? I'd like for them to kind of move around and do some interesting things. So if we have our text here and we have normals on them, let's see if we have normals still. No, we don't. Okay, so this has normals on it, if I'm seeing that correctly. Yep. And so what we need to do is transfer those over. So there's our added cost. What's this yelling about? Okay. It's just mad because one of them... Oh, right. Because it can't get to each end. It can only get to the ends that are on its own thing. Well, that's fine. No worries. Okay. So we've got this resample here, and what I should probably do is... Let's use this. We'll do an attribute transfer over. So here's our geometry. Here's that. Let's throw the normal on there. So now we should have normals on these. Yep, cool. And what I'm thinking is that we could do some like displacement based on these. So let's do another attribute adjust float. And let's do a noise. This doesn't need to be very big. I mean, maybe I'll do 0, 1, something like that. And we'll just call this displace. And we can just do a really simple point wrangle with these. We'll play around with that noise once we get it, but maybe just to make sure we're actually, well, let's leave it like that. Okay. So what we can do here is we just need to take our original point position. So we'll just say v at p, and we'll say plus equals, so we're going to add to it, and we'll just say v at n, and then we can just multiply this because that'll take first priority in the mathematical hierarchy. And we can just say times f at displace. There we go. And that should do it. Okay, cool. So now if we look at our remesh text here, we should see that these things are starting to pop up from it a little bit. And where is our thing? Here it is. Yep. And so the other thing that we could do is, because we have these, we're basically just working on that displacement. We're only doing that in world space, right? With P. So if we used like world space plus the primitive number, that should help us out here. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I could do here, because location is P. Just trying to think here. Oh yeah, okay. I could use a expression here actually. That'd actually be very easy. I can just set offset to be equal to the primitive number. So if I do a connectivity again and throw this up here and do class, what are we doing this on? We're doing these on points. So let's do this on points so that we have availability here. So class is all there, and those will all have classes based on connectivity, and there should be the number of primitives there. Great. Cool. So then if I take this, if I visualize this displace, and I'm going to go here and just change this a little bit so that we have auto on this so I can see it better. What we should be able to do is, let's see, we're going to say offset equals, I can make these bigger, make like that. Offset equals, and then we're just going to say I at class. Should be all we need, right? There we go. Cool. Okay, so now we have random displacement based on where which primitive these are, right? So they're gonna have random offset on that. So now we should be able to see this, and we're gonna have like all of these like random crazy things here. And what we could maybe even do is, yeah, I don't love that. Maybe I should fuse those points together that are like overlapping. Well, the other thing that needs to happen here is I need to change the element size down. So let's change that first of all, because that should not be so high. We can see them doing all sorts of crazy things there. And let's do 2. I don't know, something like that. Right. Now those are certainly not exactly what we would want. So what we could do, let's see here. Trying to think. Yeah, because if I fuse them all together, let's just try it. Is it possible to fuse randomly if you wanted to keep some of that together? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. You'd probably set up a group. So like maybe what we would do is let's just bring this down here and try this for a second here. So if we fuse this, first of all, let's just see what's going to happen here. Those are just going to all be fused, right? So we're not going to really see anything too interesting there. Although, why is that not displacing now? That's weird. Let me just turn this off for a second, just to make sure I'm not screwing something up here. Oh, right. This would need to go... Let's get rid of that first. This would actually go here. Oh, the fuse could have reset the normals. You're right. That's a good point. But also they weren't... It's kind of interesting looking, but that's not what I was looking for. Is it join? Interesting. Well, good, Maitland. I'm glad you were thinking something like this. Yeah, great minds. Okay. I'm just kind of confused about that. Okay. Anyways, let's just go back to what we were doing here. We'll do this. No, sorry. We'll do this. And then this still wasn't, and I think you're right. I think it may have destroyed the normals, possibly. Yes, it reset all the normals. So we need to do this here. What? Hello? Oh, I went crazy with the displays. That's right. I was like, what did I do here? Thought I was losing my mind. Oh, is there? Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, whatever. They both will work the same. Okay, so this is a little bit like better than doing this, I think. Here, let me just see. Let me turn this back on so we can see it. So there should be... Oh, right. I didn't have the expression on. That's why. A little confused about this. Sorry. Why is this not... like fusing them all together? Oh, it's happening in the resample. Interesting. So if I do this, I don't get all of that duplication, but the resample makes it happen. Okay. So what I could probably do is... Well, I'm kind of curious. Would this do it down here if I resampled it there? Yes. It still does. It duplicates all those. That's so weird. Why is it doing that? I think it's because these are... not joined as polygons, I think, or as primitives. I think that's the problem. But I thought that that was what I would do here and then do... I really thought it was join. Yeah, JPD, you're saying random thought. Could you convert the line points to SDF and then remesh? Yeah, that would be heavy. It's kind of not what I was hoping for. Yes, you certainly could do that, and then they would all just be one mesh, but I don't know. I'm forgetting something here. Really confused by this because these should be... Okay, this will answer my question here. Yeah. Okay, a lot of these are sharing these point numbers. Yeah, see, it's like undoing what I just did there. Am I missing something here? Remesh to grid, work on lines. I don't know. I'm not sure what that would even... Yeah, all I'm wanting to do right now is just get these curves to all, like, see how there's like multiple of these curves. So like if I... Here, let me just do this just so you can see what I'm trying to undo here, because let's just go to primitives here and I'll just do $F here, and just that way we can kind of go through multiple of these. You can see how these all kind of share some of the same points, right? Like there's these like common points here, like right here. It's like sharing all of these same points. And I just want those all to be on the same... I guess can you do branching curves? You can, right? Polypath. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Let me try it. What could be worse? It could be just fine. Yes, a polypath might be needed. That's right. Because that would convert each polygon into, or each segment into its own thing. I think. At least it should. Let's turn these off here. Then could I do this? Maybe joint sop help. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's grab it, because I think it's the joint sop. Okay, there's also a stitch sop. Is that what I'm thinking of? I don't know. Let's see. Let me just throw this in here too first. Don't think that's it. Nope, that's undone everything. No. Okay. Wasn't that. Yeah, see, I think it's join. I really think it's join that we want here. And that's interesting because we now have all of these like random primitives here. So let's just see. Did this do what we wanted to? Maybe it did. Okay, sort of. Okay. Yeah, they're like disconnected now though, where they split. Like it's almost there. So that's only for... See, I'm super confused by this. I really thought you could do this with curves. Like you could have branching curves. So hold on a second. Let me just see here. Let's go into the viewer and just do a little something here like this. And then... Sorry, let's see here. I mean, like... Well, that's a Bezier curve, but let's just do a curve, just a regular curve. But it seemed like it was working. Then if we do... Okay. I mean, yes. Working. All right, let me see what's going on here. Oh, but do we have two different primitives? We do. Weird. Is that just not possible? Maybe it's not. I really thought that was possible. That's crazy if not. Oops. Let's just see. We'll do that. Okay. Nope, we have two curves there too. Or two primitives there. Interesting. I guess that is a limitation. I wasn't thinking that that would be a limitation of it. Weird. Okay. Well, we can make this work regardless. So maybe what we do here, let's see. Let's turn off the fuse. Let's see if we can't do something else sort of interesting here. Well, let's try this instead. I think what we could do is we could like jitter these positions here and make them like move around in kind of an interesting way. And then that way we could make like a little like bundle of these almost. Or they're just kind of like randomly jittering instead of being in a straight line like that. So that could be kind of fun. They all just happen to grow along the same path. Something like that. Okay, so let's try that. So we've got these. we've got a bunch of points that kind of all sit on top of each other. So what we could do is we could do distance maybe from geometry. No, what we could do instead is we could say, let's do a point wrangle. And we'll do let's call this overlap points. And we'll do it like that, equals near points. And we'll just do 0, which is itself, v at p, which is its position, and then we'll say the maximum distance is 0.0001. So just basically if it's right on top of it. And actually, let's do this. Oops, sorry. We'll do that just to write it out and see what these overlapping points are. There we go. We've got overlapping points here. Hello? Okay. Yep. So basically, if it's not like this one is, if it's greater than 1, basically is what we want. So what we can do is we can do overlap points like this, and then we can say int num overlap equals the length of overlap points, and we can just say -1, because if there's just 1, that's itself, and then we can write that out. So we can say, okay, so that looks like that's working. We might need to fit that because it looks like there's 1,100 points that are overlapping in some of these positions, which is kind of funny, but that's okay. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, lots with no overlap, so that's good. Okay. And what we could do here, let's do f at we'll call this overlap amount, and we'll do fit, and we'll say at num overlap, and then we'll do 0 and maybe say, I don't know, 100, something like that. And then we'll just put that to 0 to 1, like so. So there's our overlap amounts, and let's visualize that just to see what that looks like. Yep. And that looks exactly right. That looks like that's where our overlaps are. Cool. Okay. So those are like the main highways of these curves, basically. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that overlap amount, like a mask for jittering these. And I think let's see. Just trying to think of how I can make these a little bit more interesting here. Okay, so I have my normal vectors here, right? So I have those on all of these, so that's going to be helpful. So I have normal vectors along all of those. In fact, I should probably do this. Do all this resampling and then... No, wait a second. Sorry. Should probably do this resample up here. Then do this, this. Okay, sorry. Resorting everything here. I just want to make sure it's the smooth, like this smooth resample here is getting the actual normals from the mesh underneath so that they're not like offset a little bit from where they were smoothed out to. And that should be good because that will act like our normal. And what I can do here real quick, if I do blast, just look at primitive 0. What we can see here is we have these normals, right? These are going to be, well, let's see if there's a longer one. Sure, that's fine. That is going to be kind of one of our vectors here that we can use. So what I can do is I can do orient along curve. And let's use the target up vector as the curve normal. Let's not do this. Let's leave it like that. And all right, let's make this a little simpler. Just do it on one curve for right now. Let's find one that's maybe a little longer here just to make sure it's doing what we want it to. Okay, cool. So that's what we want there. Just trying to see if this is actually, yeah, it is really moving those normals. Why is that? All right, I'm just going to play around with some of these. I just want to see if any of these keep it better. So that is a little different, but it could maybe still work. Let me just see here. What's our text look like? Yeah. Why is that? Okay, interesting. I wasn't thinking that this would be a problem. So I want to kind of give this like an orientation that uses the up, the normal as the up all the way around, but I don't think, let me see. Let me just see if Mr. Toads does any better here. All right, let's turn on orient because that's outputting just this orient. No. Doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to. No. Okay. Wonder if we could do like the double cross product trick, but I don't think that's gonna respect these. Because I just want to jitter these in like this axis here, right? Like out and up and not forward. And those are going to be constantly changing. Oh, man, I wish I was better at math. Yeah, like that one's totally wrong. Weird. All right, so let's see if we can't do this, if we can't solve this ourselves. So let's do another point wrangle. And let's do, let's set, I guess, just an arbitrary up vector. Vector up equals 1, 0, or no, sorry, 0, 1. If I could type, that would be great. Okay, so then what we want to do is Yeah, see, this isn't going to work. So, hey, Philip Welsing, how's it going? Trying to do some math stuff here and just my brain's not working properly. So this unfortunately is not going to work because I think it's going, well, let's just do it anyways just to see what it does. We'll probably fall asleep in 2 minutes. Nice. So what we're going to do is via n and up, and let's just say, we'll say v at out equals that. So let's see, this one we'll do marker, vector. It's the worst color. Yeah, see, this is the problem, is these are all now in that grid, like that. They're orthogonal to those two. So we really want this to be... Yes, they both would have made a lot more sense. Yes. Yes, I've tried to do a little bit of linear algebra catch up, but now I'm trying to think, because I need the cross product. I mean, if you do, I mean, there's no way that this will work. If we do that, it's not going to be anything. I didn't think so. I just figured, because I want it to be orthogonal to... Oh, what if I do this? No. Oh, I hope somebody has a good suggestion coming up. I see someone typing in the Discord server, so hopefully somebody has a good suggestion. Man, that's a real bummer. I thought that this was like a thing that could work, but maybe you can't give it your own... So what I'm basically trying to do here is I want this to always be my up direction, right? Because I want to keep it so that if I displace it like up, it goes along the normal. And if I displace it out, it goes in this direction away from it. But you can see, obviously, this is... Can you just jitter it in all directions and then ray it against the letter? Yeah, maybe. That could work. Yeah, maybe that could work. That's a very elegant solution, or just maybe brute force. I don't know, but it's something. Let's give it a shot. That's interesting, Maitland. I like that. All right. Yeah. Brute force is the new elegance. Yeah, I like it. Let's try it. Oh, that looks good. Just jitter it like that. Yeah, oh, done. How do I do this? Print render? Is there? No, there's not a thing for that. Okay, so here we go. Scale. We don't need that much scale. Oh, and actually, we don't want a point jitter. We want a... I mean, that's basically just an attribute adjust noise or vector, but right? Isn't it basically the same? I don't know what the difference is between those two, but they're very similar. All right, so let's do P, and then we're going to do always noise. Oh, oh, sorry. This should actually be add. This should be 0 centered, and the element size should be, or sorry, the amplitude should be a lot less, like super tiny. That the element size should be really small. Okay, hold on a second here. Because if I do, so here's my displacement. Sorry, let me turn this off. Okay, well, that sort of solved it, I guess. Let's get rid of those. That's really interesting. Okay, so we've got that, and I want to have that. Man, I wish this amplitude had a way to scale it. I guess what I should probably do instead of using this is do an attribute VOP. That would probably be better. Or, sorry, point VOP. Because that's going to give me a lot more control over this. And be able to control some of these things here. So let's do noise. I think this is like every type of noise. Sure. So this is the position. This will give me a little more control over it. And I don't have to do it in Vex with a million arguments, which I find to be a bit trickier to do. What am I doing wrong here? Do I not have it enabled? I don't. That's just stupid. That is just dumb. Why is this taking so long to cook? Okay, maybe I'm going to take this out. Let's do just a turbulent noise. Do simplex, position, 3D noise. Okay. All right, we'll figure that out. What's the plan at the moment? I just want these like branches to not like basically I don't want them all to be on top of each other like this. I want to like scatter them out a little bit. So I'm going to do that. Also, I need to do a bind here and get class. That's going to be an integer. And we're going to put that into the offset. Cool. And then we are going to use this, where was it? Overlap amount. We're going to say, we're going to bind that, which is a float. Overlap and T. And then we're going to put that into the amplitude. We'll probably need to remap that because that seems a little bit harsh in the one direction. Okay. It's a fit. Been doing too much. I've been trying to learn some Copernicus stuff, and now I'm like, remap. Nope. It's a fit here. Really wish those were the same in both, but here we are. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we're starting to get somewhere here. It's kind of fun. So they're not just all like on top of each other. Massive veins there, or whatever they are. Vines, I should say. Okay, so there's that. And then instead of doing this, I think we're going to just need to do... Well, I guess we could just have this be a part of it and just do let's see, what was I doing for this? How was I displacing this? So the element size, max value 0.2. Okay. I could probably just make this work. So this was really just another turbulent noise based on class. No, we can do this. Displace along normal. We can do that. And then we can take, we actually don't need this, sorry. So we've got that. And then if we displace this along the normal, like so. Yep. Okay. So then we can do the amount. Oh yeah, we do need another noise. So we'll do this. We don't need to do based on that. We can just have it at a set amplitude. And this needs to be a 1D noise, and we'll throw this into the amount. Okay, let's do a clamp here because I don't want this to be going negative. I don't need it to go any more negative. They're already negative enough. And then maybe what we could do is we could add in, this is just random noise here. We could add this in, the overlap amount. Maybe do another fit here, then do an add. Sorry, I know this is getting a little spaghetti-ish, but maybe this will work. Okay. That's sort of working, actually. Yeah, now they're not like all stuck inside of there. Could just like do 0.025. So I'm just adding this into it. Okay. It's kind of creepy and weird. There's like weird growy veins all over these things. Let's see here what this looks like. Turn that off. Yeah, so we've got like little... Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so we've got like these bundles of things there, and let's see here. The only other thing that I probably want to do maybe before before I do this is maybe I want to... Might be nice to subdivide this too. Oh, right. We need to get rid of that. We don't need to do this anymore, I don't think. I'm just going to mute that. What is this? This is nothing, so we don't need that. Resample. Okay, let's see. Let me just make sure I'm thinking of this the right way. Okay, maybe what I'll do is just give this a little bit of positive there. Then that should make sure that these aren't going to... Yeah, that's great. Now they're all sort of doing their own thing here. Cool. Yeah. Well, that's pretty fun. We've got something going on there. And let's just do this. Let's do a... All right, we're just going to make a little quick setup here. Maybe see if we can render it real quick. And this is going to be the vines. Oh, you know what I should do? Should do like a curve view on this or something. So I can have, let's see here. Attribute remap. So let's take curve view. We're going to change it to P scale. 0, we probably want 0.1. And at the very other end, we'll do 0.01 maybe. Interesting. Let me just pull up these parameters. And then I'll jump into Solaris and we can see, maybe get a sense for the scale here. Boy, that's small. It's a tiny little number. Okay. Merge it. Merge. Let's see here. Just throw a grid down. Definitely could do something more interesting, but hey, here we are. It does the weight attribute automatically. Yes, it weights it based on the weight attribute is converted from P scale. Sorry, width attribute is converted from P scale. Let's do a throw physical sky in here. Karma setup. Let's also throw a camera in for good measure, because the karma render settings really likes that, so it's not angry. And I am going to add this just so if anybody's curious. You know what? I'm actually just going to call this world camera. So this is just the camera. Then we've got our geometry and our lights are here. Geometry. And there's our render settings. So let's just see what this looks like here. And the really nice thing is this is on a different computer now, so I don't have to worry about it. All right, so let's do a couple of, actually, let's do a material linker. And I am going to, I don't think there, oh, there is wood. Sure. Good enough. Good enough for me. Can just throw a wood texture on there and call it good. And then let's see, what do we want to do for the other things here? You know, let's, what are these called? Material X. Yeah, these are PBR textures. I don't know about those other ones. Those ones might just be just like procedural textures. Actually, you know what? We could probably do something even better here with like this. Just call that good. It's probably even more interesting to do something like that. And what should those be? I don't know. What kind of material? Maybe like this? That could be kind of cool. Like a mossy ground material. Maybe not. Oh, right. There's no UVs on it. I can maybe fix that real quick. Let's see. Let's go back to this and let's do a auto UV on this just to give it some UVs since it doesn't have any. Yeah, they do help for a quick setup. I agree. They're pretty nice. It's remeshing it and doing all that stuff again. That's silly. Wait a second. We have stretched normals there? That's weird. Why are those? Okay. Fine, whatever. Doesn't really matter what it is. It's so irrelevant. Let it remesh real quick. Okay. I think it's actually recalculating that possibly. Weird. It's a weird. Let's see here. Let's see. Cool. Anything we want to throw on that? Let's see here. I don't know. What is this going to look like? I have no idea. Oh, we're not even looking through the actual finished render. That's so silly looking. Why am I doing that? Let's see. Let's undo that. Okay. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Maybe I can do... Let's... Nope. Interesting. Okay, we'll just leave that as is, and then I'm just going to do a quick surface material and assign that. Yeah, the ground search was hiding it. You're right. But we're going too fast for that now. It's too fast. We're too fast. Okay, so we just need geometry ground. We're gonna throw the quick surface material on it. Oh, that's right. You know what? I could have actually just done that. I could have just done this and selected that. There we go. That'll do an assigned material for you, as I should have known. Let's actually do a... There we go. That's great. Cool. All right. I mean, hey, it's nothing amazing, but it'll do. It'll do, pig. There's our random little Mardini thing. Anyways, there we have it. We've got some weird growing stuff happening. And that is that. Well, hopefully you all found this relatively interesting. Who knows? But it got me back mentally into things a little bit. So, yeah, it's something. And, yeah, hopefully maybe you learned a couple little tricks and tips and things like that along the way. Yeah, maybe we all learned something. Actually, what I wanted to do is grab my parameters here again and go back to Solaris. Just tweak this because I think that that's too small. Nope, that's way too big. What was I doing? That's... yeah, maybe like that. Yes, I do want to make leaves for it now, but you know what? It's 8 o'clock. I'm done. I'm done. But, yeah, feel free to take the files and go to town with it. But if you do use this for Mardini, I will know, and I will say, don't let this person get in first place or get a prize, because obviously this is the prize-winning entry if it was allowed. So, all right. It was fun chatting with you all. Nice to be back in town. And yeah, hopefully you learned a little something. Thanks, Zach, for the third prize for everyone. Yeah, thanks for, hopefully there's a little nugget in there for you. And third prize. I love it. But yeah, that is going to wrap us up here for the evening. So thank you all for joining and for being part of the chat. And yeah, thank you for you know, just being around, hanging out, as we say. And yeah, maybe next week we'll do another Mardini thing just because we're here, and why not? You know, I think it would be the last week that would be possible anyways, so it might be a fun little thing to do unless somebody else has some really great suggestion that they throw in the Discord server, which you can find at HoudiniHangout.com. You can go there, get a link to the free Discord server and join up and come chat and get your Houdini problems, every problem you've ever had, solved instantly. All right, everybody, have a wonderful evening. It was really nice getting to be back here and chatting with you all again. And we'll see you all next week. Have a great night and or day or whatever time it is for you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.